Welcome to the video. My name is Abhi and you're on the Better Man Show. See, today I want to talk to you about mental toughness and resilience. Now, why do I want to talk to you about that? Some of the things that I'm going to say might be a little offensive to some people, and it's because what I personally think, and I could be wrong obviously, that is happening in society. There was a quote that I read on this website called artofmanliness.com. Great website. I highly recommend you check it out, by the way. But in the quote, what the author said, or what the writer said rather, was, in order to be a gentleman, you have to be a man first. You know, interesting, right? Like, I thought about it, I'm like, what does he mean? What does that mean? And eventually, like, this is back when I had some really interesting colleagues and workmates. I mean, not that I don't anymore, but there was one particular younger gentleman that I used to get along with really well. And we used to discuss the concept of masculinity, or rather the topic of masculinity, in quite detail. And we would talk about things, and we were each other's sounding board. His name was Will. Hey, Will, if you're watching this. And the way that Will had explained it to me was that, see, the respect for a man comes from his restraint, the self-control that he has on himself. So, for example, let's deconstruct that quote. In order to be a gentleman, you have to be a man first. Now, man, in his untamed nature, is a beast. Like, that's the wild part of you. The primal, like if someone pisses you off, then go fuck that guy up type of person. And similarly, the same one that wants to approach women because he thinks they're hot as fuck, right? That's the man, that's the beast inside. And in order to be a gentleman, you have to be in tune with the beast inside. And you might be thinking like, yo, that's a very weird way of looking at it. But I would counter it with this. Why do you think we have such a widespread, like almost like problem, right? I don't want to use any bigger words just because being sensitive to the times, but we have such a widespread problem with men being stuck in the nice guy paradigm. And how attractive are these men to women, right? I mean, they're nice, and then everything that's authentically true about them, if they deem that the person they're speaking with is not going to appreciate or even like what they have to authentically say, then they will censor themselves and change the way that they're talking to them. So for example, if I knew that you're someone who likes, I don't know, think of a team. Let's say you like the Australian cricket team or something, which I do too, to be honest, so this is probably not the greatest of examples. But if you're telling me that Stephen Smith is the greatest batsman of all time, like, I'll be like, nah, bro. How can you be ignoring Virat Kohli? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just do that. I'm sorry, you just can't. But if I cared so much about what you thought of me, I would be quiet. I wouldn't even say it. I wouldn't bring it up. I'd be scared. I'd be terrified. I'd be sweating profusely. My hands would be, knees weak. Mom spaghetti in this. Oh, fuck. And that's what I think about why people are mentally weak. It's because, number one, they never actually accept who they are. Once you accept who you are for the wild, untamed beast that you are, or the capacity to be that you have within you, once you accept that, then you can start adding on restraints. So for example, and this may be a skewed way of looking at it, obviously I could be wrong. What do I know? I'm just a guy on the internet apparently. But what I would say is, like, for example, when you look at a guy who's like super buff, right? Like the type of guy that I want to be. I want to be super buff at some point. Now, what does that take? You can think of it as like it takes discipline, it takes proper diet and nutrition and working out consistently and your water intake, your vitamins, and whatever. Like, I actually don't know all the things it takes, but these are the things that I know. But another way of looking at it is also the restraint. So the beast that I am, right? Like basically I have a collar around my own inner beast, meaning that the beast doesn't drive me. I drive the beast. I tell him which way to navigate, how to navigate the world, and where to go. So coming back to the workout example, in the workout example, I know that I shouldn't be eating bullshit, like fucking ice cream or whatever. It's so bad. I just had ice cream like yesterday. But anyways, and actually that's probably the best example, right? Like I know for a fact that if I want to look great, if I want to be muscular, vascular, fucking ripped, shredded, whatever, I have to have that self-control and that restraint over myself to not eat bullshit food, to not eat fast food, to not eat ice cream, and like all the things we already know that we shouldn't be eating, you know what I mean? Now, do I really need someone to tell me that? No, I don't. I already know what the right thing to do here is. It's quite simple. If I want the body, I have to do the work. And part of the work includes the things that I am unwilling to do. I am unwilling, so I believe, to eat fried food every day. I actually honestly don't. I avoid fried food as much as I can. So that's one of the things that I don't do. It's a restraint that I have over myself. Like I fucking love fries, man. Who the hell doesn't like fries, But that's an example of restraint. My internal primal self, my beast inside, so to speak, he wants to eat all the bullshit. He wants. Like another one is like fucking, oh my God, fine. Another one is like watching porn and shit. Dude, like, this is such a fucking problem in the world right now. I'm definitely gonna do a different video on it, but like that's a major issue for a lot of people, especially men. That's my audience, especially men. It's a major fucking problem, man. Like, and what does it come down to? Like we think in terms of things like NoFap. It's weird. It's weird, like, or to avoid porn, like, no porn, no fap. Like, think about it like this, like, for thousands of years, your ancestors never had the option of porn, right? To them, life was no fap. Or maybe not no fap, but no porn. That's an actual thing that's happening to us guys right now. And I have my own thoughts on the topic, and I will get into it in some other video. But jumping back to the mental toughness, strength, and resilience, part of the thing that I think is it's good to have discipline. It's good to, do the things that you're supposed to do. But there's also an element of not doing the things you're not supposed to do. And that's where the restraint in self comes through. That's where it's another expression of discipline. Like, for example, right now I'm obviously not in the greatest shape of my life. But like a couple years ago, I was in great shape. And one of the things that I just absolutely refused to do was miss a day at the gym. Like, no matter the fuck what, that was just not on the cards. It was not on the table. It was not an option. It was something that I would never do. And I kind of lost that self-control in myself. And yeah, I should probably start doing that again. Hey, maybe you should too. Keep me accountable. But yeah, so that's part of like having that restraint over the inner beast. A better example is yesterday. Yesterday, I knew I had to work out. It was legs day, and I was like, yo, I gotta work out. And I'm watching some fucking YouTube or something, and I'm like, okay, after this video, I'm gonna work out. And then the next one plays, I'm like, yo, after this one, I'm definitely gonna work out. And then what happened? I passed out. I wake up at like 8 a.m., I'm like, great, I didn't work out. Shit. Now, is it really that hard to believe that that's something I did by looking at me right now? Now, conversely, if I was like supremely jacked and then I told you I never miss a day at the gym, would it be really hard to believe what I don't do? It wouldn't be, right? It would be like, yeah, that obviously makes sense. And that's what I mean by mental toughness and mental strength, because you know the things that you absolutely must do and you know the things that you absolutely must not do. And the more you live in alignment with either one of those, or rather both, ideally, the more you build mental strength, resilience, and toughness. These are things that build on each other. It's like if you're building a house or something, right? You're laying brick by brick. You're building your foundation, and that's one of the reasons why I emphasize integrity so much. It is very important to me. It's something that I try my best to live up to, my own standards, not anybody else. And I would implore you to do the same thing. I would say, don't care about what I'm telling you to do. Take it as advice or an opinion, rather. If you like what I say, then good. I appreciate you. Thank you. But we don't have to agree on everything or every topic or everything that I say. Obviously not. You're your own person. You are your own person, and so am I. I have my own thoughts and opinions, and so do you. But I would say that I think there is massive benefit to living life with integrity, and that adds to your mental toughness and resilience, purely because I mentioned this on yesterday's video and also a few other videos, but purely because it adds to your self-belief. I think the most important statement that I could say to myself and believe it is that when I say something, I do something. I don't know much else, or I don't know any other quality in a man that could be considered more valuable than that. That's what I personally believe. I really don't think there's anything else, because the element of dependability and reliability springs off of this. If you and I are friends, and I know for a fucking fact that when you say something, you do something, and you tell me, hey, Abhi, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna shoot the video on the weekend. I'm not gonna doubt you. Never. Especially if you have a proven track record, right? Yeah, I think that's probably a good spot to leave it at. I may have riffed around a bit too much here and there, but that's what I want to leave you with, the concept of integrity, which is a core principle of mine. If you're a man who, honestly, every man should have integrity. I really don't know if there's a type of man that should not have integrity. And that's my worldview, that's my belief. I could be wrong, although I really am struggling to find or to see an exception to that rule. To me, a man is worth his word. If you're ever gonna see me say something, I will do my absolute best to do it. Obviously, take this with a grain of salt, and because there's obviously exceptions, right? There's obviously going to be exceptions in what you say, what you do, but that's what it should be. It should be the exception. The mentor that I'm working with right now, he put it the best way. So what was happening was, on our team calls, people would be coming late or something, and when you're late, you're like, yo, I'm sorry, I'm 5 minutes late, I was running, whatever. And the way he said it was, look, I don't care for your stories, right? He didn't mean it in a mean way. He's just saying, I don't care for your stories. Because over time, what happens is people's actions speak for themselves. And I thought that was interesting, right? Because he's like, look, if you're somebody who's genuinely and generally a punctual person, you're going to be on time. And the one time that you weren't, it's going to be abundantly clear and evident that this is an exception. And if you're somebody who's generally late, right, then it's going to be abundantly clear that this person is always late. At that point, the stories you say, today my cat died, and yesterday my grandma died, and whatever the fuck, it doesn't matter, because people will know because of your actions that you're full of shit, essentially. So that's the thought that I would like to leave you with. The only way that I can say on how to build your mental strength, your toughness and resilience is by focusing on your integrity and being a man who does what he says. That'll automatically skyrocket your self-belief, your self-confidence, your self-esteem. And in turn, the external effects would be that people around you would know that they can trust you, that would know that you're reliable, you're dependable. More people would want to be in business with you. More people would want to be friends with you. More people would want you on their team, which is a great one. If you're ever going to win big in life, you're going to need a team. And honestly, like, I try not to steer the conversation too much towards women, but it is true. Like, the reason why women are so, I guess, not overly excited about nice guys is because they can sense that, is he telling me what I want to hear, or is he being the real him, right? And the more you can be the real you, it's so funny, the more people actually want to be around you. So yeah, these are my thoughts. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. And catch you on the one tomorrow. Peace.